it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Lancescurv Show podcast. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, share, and give it a like. I just want to pass along a quick piece of information concerning our sisters. And I'm going to drop the article in the description area below so you can read the whole thing because it's quite lengthy, but it's very important. I just want to pass this around to bring awareness of the article and the situation. Okay, the title of this is Uterine Cancer Increasing Among Black Women and is More Deadly Than in White Women. Okay, here it is, first few paragraphs. While it had been long less common among black women, the rates are climbing and proving more deadly. Cancer of the uterus, also known as endometrial cancer, is increasing rapidly and may become the third most common cancer among women. And black women die of it at twice the rate of white women, the New York Times is reporting. Moreover, black women have a higher incidence of a more aggressive form called non-endometrioid uterine cancer. The Times article cites the results of a new study, Racial and Ethnic Differences in Hysterectomy Corrected Uterine Corpus Cancer Mortality by Stage and Histologic Subtype, published in the latest edition of JAMA Oncology. The abstract notes that uterine cancer incidence has been increasing, particularly rates of aggressive non-endometrioid subtypes, which are disproportionately higher among non-Hispanic black women. Now, this is what you need to take note of. If you don't get anything from this article, I'm not going to read that much more, but this paragraph is very important. Early warning signs include a change in menstrual bleeding before or after menopause, along with pelvic pain and painful urination and intercourse. Survival rates are high when endometrial cancer is detected early. So you got to detect this thing early. To detect it early, you got to be on top of your health. You can't say I feel good or I feel strong or I'll be okay. I know a lot of us, it's expensive when you don't have a health care plan or you're on a job where it helps to reduce it, or you don't have something of your own. A lot of us try to wing it and say, one day I'll check this out, but I got to keep working. I got bills to pay. I don't have the money to pay for it. I understand that. But if you don't do it, you're not going to be here. I'm not thinking doom and gloom, but your health is more important than the bills that will be there. Because the day we transition, bills will be on the way. We're making bills every single day. I just felt that I should say that. The uterine cancer death rate for black women is 31.4 per 100,000 women ages 40 and up, compared with 15.2 per 100,000 white women in the same age group. Further, uterine cancer is increasing among younger populations, particularly women of childbearing age and women with no known risk factors. I'm going to drop that article again, the link for it, in the description area below. But isn't that something? How it's aggressive among black women. This thing is targeted. So it's not just the cop that pulls you over that wants to shoot you. It's not just that person who calls you the N-word or that Karen who harasses you. Just understand, I'm not trying to make anybody paranoid, but we have to cover all fronts with our existence on this planet. Because whatever it is bad out there, it seems like it's worse for us. So we got to stay on top of our game. Even if you don't share this particular video, talk to your sisters and your brothers about it. And brothers, we need to bring these things up in the conversations with the young ladies that we're married to or dating, or even if you're creeping, whatever, get the word out. A lot of times we don't think anything is more important. Maybe, you got to watch out for AIDS. You got to strap it up. Look, there's so many other things creeping into our lives and creeping into our bodies. What are they spraying in the air? Does that have some effect on our sisters, or a multiple effect on all of us? Why do they spray certain things in the air in certain neighborhoods and not other neighborhoods? What are the kind of foods they're providing in the local supermarkets that if we don't have a car to go somewhere else further away or get non-GMO foods, we got to walk to that supermarket and get those foods? What kind of foods do they have there that they don't have other places? What kind of food do they have in other places that they don't have in our neighborhoods? I once had a guy that I was training alongside. I wasn't a training partner with him, but it was as far back as 1982 that he told me this. And he was a delivery driver for some kind of meat factory. And he told me factually that they dropped off the best cuts of meat in the white neighborhoods and left the worst, the bad, stale, or almost stagnant, whatever it was. The best was for the white neighborhoods, the worst was for the black neighborhoods. We really need to cut back or eliminate meat altogether. But that's what he told me 40 years ago. I was getting information back then. And I was aware of things back then. So it doesn't mean the other neighborhood is better. But if you have a vehicle, you go on and you drive on in their neighborhoods. Go into their so-called affluent neighborhoods. And you shop there. We got to be strategic about this. I ain't going in the white neighborhood and shop. Nope. They're going to preserve themselves. You go on in there and you purchase, even if they give you the funny looks, you go get the food from over there. What kind of water are you drinking? What kind of things are we consuming in our bodies? What's the quality of air where we live? Do we live near a toxic dump? I remember there was a big study, and I think it was one of the Kennedy brothers, the one there that he's always doing the activism and stuff like that. He found, and he brought it out, that most hoods are near toxic dumps. And you could say, well, wherever you find the toxic dump, you'll find a hood. And we know white folks live in the hood. And we know what we say. Now, every black community is not a hood because that community, it's just not that way, right? Neighborhoods, hood, poor black neighborhoods. Let's just, let's not nitpick anymore. You know what I'm saying. Near most toxic dumps, if there is some place where folks are living, is black folks. But he found that proportionately high. And even now this is what I discovered. My dear friend from Orlando, she ran for political office a couple times, whatever, Luana Gelsa. I got to give her credit where credit's due. For those who live in Orlando, the Paramore area, okay, that has been gentrified. Many parts of it the soil was tainted because so much toxicity was in the soil, and independent studies found that. So I always hang with people to get information. And if you look at some of the older videos, you'll remember her. I don't have her on recently because we're not near each other, but I'm going to give her a call and see what's going on with her. Of course, every time the phone rings when I'm doing a show. So I had to knock that. If that sound came through, I'm going to leave it in. I don't need to do any more editing. You know what I do. I get a lot of phone calls. So anyway, like I said, we have to be on top of our health. There are a lot of things out here that we walk into and don't realize what it is, that are damaging to our health, for our children. How is it that we are just born, and women of childbearing age, let's just say from late teens to early 20s, on a moral level, you can nitpick on what it may be, but we just get here and we can get these kind of cancers, and it's more aggressive in black women. That's the bottom line. It's more aggressive in black women, right? Uterine cancer. And that will stop us from procreating even more and keeping our numbers down. Some may think of pleasure and just sex, but this is a bigger thing. Again, I go back to saying again, I'm going to shut up after this because I don't want to make this too long. They want to wipe us off of the planet Earth. And they're doing it in multiple ways. And not just shooting us to do it. They're doing it in so many medical ways and things through our food and the environment and everything. And they're trying to psychologically twist us up. And people will say, well, it's for everybody. Yeah, well, some people get caught up in those cross threads and those cross, wires. It's always us that gets the worst of the worst in this world. So amp up, study, understand what's going on in your life and around you, and inform other people in your family, and let's rise up, because at the end of the day, we're still going to be the winner. Anything I see, I'm going to talk about it if it's a threat to us. but we need to be on point. It's almost like we're at war and we're on top of a mountain, and there's a bunch of us up there, but we all look in one direction to see of any oncoming threat over the horizon, but don't look behind us. We need to get in a circle and look outward and cover everything. This is not just for Hollywood gossip or speaking about certain things. Right now, with this platform, I'm talking about everything that's a threat. I've always have, but I'm always going to make sure. And if you know anybody in the medical field who can speak on this, you give them my credentials as far, my contacts, credentials. I'm just a regular dude, right? But you give them the contact, I will afford them time on the platform because we have a lot of eyes that come here, regardless as to what YouTube says. And we're going to speak about it in detail. And if they want to be anonymous, I honor that. You know that. I do it the way you say it. They can come and give me the information, write something to me. They can come and use their voice. They can whatever. They want to show their face, whatever. We're going to get down and we're going to get information out here because there's too many bad, crazy, stupid things put out here to clog up our brain and distract us. Much love to you all. Lancescurv out. Let's comment on this. And don't forget the article is going to be down below. Much love to you all. Peace.